This is the Databricks Data Engineer podcast. Two Databricks engineers sit at adjacent desks. Same title, same pay, two completely different ladders. Nobody ever told them there were two. By the end, you'll know which one your last year built toward and where each one stalls. This one comes out of a pattern I keep hearing from engineers who reach out. Same story every time. Good work, strong reviews, and a promotion conversation that stalls on a sentence nobody can quite finish. Here's the story the letter tells you. There's one path. Junior, mid, senior, staff. You climb it by getting better at Databricks. Better Spark, cleaner pipelines, fewer incidents at 2 a.m, one axis, one race. Call that the one-letter story. It isn't a lie. It's just missing a fork, and the missing fork is what quietly costs people years. So where's the fork? Think about a rail yard for a second. If you only watched the trains, you'd think there was one job here. Drive the train, hit the schedule, deliver the freight. But nothing moves until somebody lays the track, sets the switches, decides where the line even goes. 2 crews, 2 skill sets, 1 yard. And on the org chart, both of them are just the railroad. Let's call our 2 engineers Lisa and Dave. Same level, same team, same review cycle. Watch a year go by. Lisa keeps drifting toward one instinct: make this repeatable. Somebody asks her for a one-off ingestion job, and she builds the ingestion pattern instead. She writes the cluster policy that stops a curious notebook from eating the budget. Her proudest week this year? The week a change she made shaved time of 100 jobs she has never opened. Dave drifts the other way. Make this real. Marketing can't tell which campaigns paid off, so he builds the attribution model. He argues about what counts as a conversion for 3 weeks. Then he ships the table the whole company now argues from. His proudest week was the week a vice president changed the budget because of a number he produced. Same title, same pay, same words in the letter document, and they are not doing the same job. So which one of them is more senior? Wrong question. That's the entire problem. At review time, both got rated strong. Both got told they were ready for more scope. And nobody said the thing that would have helped, because the evidence they're stacking isn't interchangeable. Lisa's year makes no sense on Dave's promotion packet, and Dave's makes none on Lisa's. So let me name it. A fork you can't name is a fork you keep walking into. There are 2 tracks in data engineering. Most Databricks orgs run both, whether the ladder document admits it or not. And on a small team, both of them run through the same person. Track 1 is the platform track. You build the thing other people run on. Your currency is leverage. Track 2 is the product track. You use the platform to deliver outcomes. Your currency is decisions, leverage, and decisions. So which one have you been paid in? I used to think that gap was just seniority, that platform people were further along the same road, having earned the right to build tools. That's wrong. It's a different road, with a different toll booth. Now watch the top of each track. Staff, principal, lead, whatever your ladder calls the rung above senior. This is where they stop resembling each other at all. Lisa reaches staff when her abstraction gets adopted across the org. Not when it exists, when it's load-bearing, when 3 teams who never met her are shipping on her ingestion framework. Her proof is other people's velocity. Dave reaches staff when the business keeps making decisions on what he built, not when the dashboard ships. When the number gets quoted in a room he isn't in. His proof is other people's decisions. Right. 2 things get confused for these tracks, and both confusions are expensive. Operating the platform is not building it. Being the person who always fixes the failing job at 7 a.m. feels like platform work. Fixing it is running trains on somebody else's track. Fixing why it keeps failing is laying new line. Same alert. Two different jobs. One makes you reliable. The other makes you leveraged. And reliable is a wonderful way to stay exactly where you are. Answering business questions isn't delivering outcomes either. Turning a Slack request into a table is service. Owning the question behind the request is product. Same laptop, different job. Which of those was your last sprint? Hold that answer. There are flavors inside each track too. On the platform side, pavers and guardrails. Pavers build paths, like ingestion frameworks and deployment tooling. Guardrails build limits, Unity catalog permissions, the cluster policies that keep one runaway job from becoming a finance conversation. On the product side, some people ship data products other teams make decisions with. Others embed in one business function. They become the person who knows why the numbers go weird every December. Same track, very different weeks. Now, here's where each track kills a good year. The platform track stalls a track to nowhere. You spent 2 quarters on a framework, and the other teams politely kept their old pipelines. You built something real. Nobody wrote it. On this track, adoption isn't marketing. Adoption is the work. The product track stalls at the shuttle. Somebody else's route, somebody else's schedule, ticket after ticket. You're valuable the way a shuttle is valuable. People would notice if you stopped. Nobody would call it strategy. Which of those sounds closer to home? You're probably thinking, I don't get to pick. I take whatever work my manager hands me. Partly true, but you pick which half you volunteer for. And you pick which half shows up in the story you tell about your year. Some of you are already thinking, my team is 4 people. I do both, every day. Good. A small team is the cheapest place on earth to run both. Just don't let 5 years go by on autopilot. Doing both isn't what stalls you. Doing both without ever deciding which one you're building toward is. That's a resume with no verb. So, which one are you? Not which one sounds better. Which one has your last year quietly been building? Here's how to find out, and it takes 5 minutes on a walk. Think about the week this year you were proudest of. Not the busiest, the proudest. Then ask what you were proud of. Were you proud because other people moved faster? Or because something in the business changed? Lisa's answer was 100 jobs got quicker. Dave's answer was the budget moved. Same question, opposite answers. And the one that arrives first is your track. Then check that against evidence, because we all flatter ourselves a little. Name the 3 things you shipped this year, and say out loud who benefited from each. A team that now moves faster? Platform? A person outside your team who made a decision? Product? One of the 3 pointing the other way isn't a problem. It's a hobby. Hobbies only hurt you when you list them like a career. Then build deliberately for the one you picked. On the platform track, the next level isn't another framework. It's adoption of the one you already built. Go get the second team onto it. Do the migration yourself if that's what it takes. Then delete what it replaced. A platform person who can't deprecate their own work just maintains 2 of everything. On the product track, the next level isn't another dashboard. It's owning one decision end to end. Pick a question the business keeps re-asking. Find out why the answer keeps changing, and fix the thing underneath. Then make sure that decision has your name near it. Not in a loud way, in a she's the one who sorted out attribution way. And say it out loud in your next one-on-one. Something like, for the next 2 quarters, I want my work weighted toward the platform side. Then name the evidence you'd be building. Managers are rarely against this. They just can't read your mind. And a yes isn't a plan. Before you leave that room, name the one piece of work you want. Then ask what comes off your plate to make room for it. I want to be careful here though. A track isn't a tattoo. People cross over, and the crossover is usually a strength. The cost was never picking. It's drifting for years and calling it breadth. There's one test for whether it worked, and it's the same on both tracks. What happens after you leave? Leave the platform track. If your framework keeps getting extended by people who never met you, you built a platform. If it rots in a quarter, you built a personal tool with good documentation. Leave the product track. If the business keeps making that decision without you, you ship the product. If the dashboard goes dark and nobody files a ticket, you ship the report. And the stakes aren't abstract. In the States, the step from mid to senior is worth something like a 50K swing in total comp. Wherever you are, it's the biggest single jump on the ladder. That gap doesn't close because you learned one more Databricks feature. It closes when somebody senior can describe your work in one sentence, without using the word "and." That's what I've got for you today. So here's the question to carry out with you. The week you were proudest of this year. Were you proud that other people moved faster, or that something in the business changed? The only real mistake is being on a track by accident. Neither one is better, by the way. The engineer who makes 100 jobs cheaper is doing hard work. So is the one who finally gets marketing to trust a number. This industry needs both far more than it needs one more person who's slightly better at Spark. If this landed, send it to the engineer sitting next to you. You might be on different tracks. See you next time.